Hello.
Oh, hello. Welcome.
The
Death
creepy
Metal
way to
Cast.
start that.
A surprise morning one, I guess. Here we are. Thank you for joining us for this interestingly scheduled episode. If you haven't been checking out RTX at home this week and last week, you should. It is the last day, but hey, there's still stuff to do.
And a lot of it's archived on the website, right?
Yeah,
So-
absolutely. And on it's all there. Just look up RTX at home. You can find all sorts of cool stuff, including the panel we did that was posted last week. But this episode of Death Metal Cast is brought to you by Mac Weldon and Full Sail. Thank you for sponsoring this, and we are doing this live on YouTube for some reason. So here we go.
Yeah, I don't know. This with RTX going on, it's been crazy with the schedules and everything. So we're like, hey, let's just do it live on YouTube on Friday. So here we are. Good morning, everyone.
Yes, it is too early for this. But as always, I'm Ben, the voice of Wiz. That's Chad, voice of Boomstick. We are joined by two people who worked very hard on the most recent episode of Death Battle, the second ever live action episode. First up, we've got Danny Shepard. Say hi, Danny.
Heyo, it's me.
The director of the fight, one of the main guys over at Ismahawk. If you have not checked out the Ismahawk channel, you really should. They are a bunch of badass people who make some awesome awesome stuff.
And world's best Nightwing cosplayer.
Yes, yes. Of course we got Josh as well.
Hello.
The writer. What's up, Josh? Thank you guys for joining us this early in the morning.
It's great. I feel like this is my Troy and Abed in the morning fantasy come true.
So there we go.
What are you talking about, Ben? We're all bursting with energy.
Yes. I've had my coffee. I'm good to go.
At least it's like
soda.
It's like 10:30 for you guys. It's like 8:30 for me.
That's true.
Yeah.
EST right now.
Hey, since we're live on YouTube and Danny's here, I'm going to shamelessly just shill his channel. You guys should open up another tab and then look up Ismahawk and then go subscribe because they make really cool, awesome stuff, and you should do that. And then go watch every video they've ever made. That's the other part of this. Okay.
Leave a comment. We would very much appreciate it. Thanks, Chad.
Subscribe, ring that bell, all that other stuff.
Yeah.
All right.
So, all the stuff.
So the main thing we want to talk about with this week's episode is Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. Normally we do sort of a Q&A session with this, but fortunately it looks like, Josh, your writing was so succinct that most people don't seem to have a problem with the verdict.
Great.
I guess the main issues were just like, or the main questions were like, were things that were kind of covered. That was like, but Red Hood was trained. Oh, spoilers, by the way. We're going to talk about the winner. So if you have not seen Winter Soldier versus Red Hood, you probably should just go do that right now.
You absolutely should go do it and look for the Easter eggs. We planted lots of them.
We'll get to that. But I guess the main counterpoint that came up was like, Red Hood's trained by Batman. That automatically makes him better. Like that argument. Like that was like the main thing that I saw.
Yeah.
Which I think a lot of people underestimate Bucky's training and physical prowess. Like, I don't know. There were a lot of people who were posting like, Bucky Barnes is just some dude. I was like, I think you missed the whole rundown, buddy.
It's a very impressive dude with that.
Try not to skip to the fight. We do have a lot of information to cover in these episodes.
Yeah. Also,
Even
Batman's
without the
great,
arm.
but Bruce kind of sucks as a mentor. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah.
To a certain
It's not
extent.
the best.
Yeah. I mean,
He's really great at some things, but
Yeah.
not as good at not. He doesn't have a tender hand. He
He's
doesn't
a
nurture
very-
them.
He has a certain kind of, like it's a very particular style, and if you don't quite fit in there, you're going to get killed by the Joker, basically.
Yeah.
He strikes me as the kind of dad who, like, he has 4 kids and kind of really screws up with the first one, like tries to do something different with the second one, screws that one up, and then the third and the fourth one, he's like, all right, well, I think I figured it out just enough to figure it out with Tim and Damien.
I mean, he fucked up pretty bad with Tim. He got his girlfriend killed.
Yeah.
Or killed. She came back a year later, of course,
Yeah.
but
Seems like he's doing
Damien's
okay with
actually his
Damien.
biological son, so this one counts more.
This is a little more
like,
important.
This is it. I can't fuck this one up. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the process of what we did here, because this is our second ever live action death battle, which is crazy. If you guys have not seen the first one, Nightwing versus Daredevil, that was also done by the wonderful folks at Ismahawk, and Danny even played Nightwing. Yep, that's
Just like that. Perfect.
That's
like
just
that.
what I did. Wow. There you go. Everybody gets one.
Perfect.
Let's talk a little bit about how we sort of led into this episode, because after, like, we were talking about this episode while we were making Nightwing versus Daredevil, like on set.
We were like, hey Ben, like, it would be really cool if we did Winter Soldier versus Red Hood. Just saying. You don't have to do anything, but just saying.
Well, because you guys, so you've done a video series on your channel a while back, a minute matchup, which was sort of similar to Death Battle in a way. It's kind of the way we found you guys, in that it was matchups between comic book characters. Oh,
right.
I mean, it's
you guys
very
are the
much
kings.
like the live action DBX, I guess you could say.
Right.
But so you guys have a history with Red Hood, Nightwing. You did fan films and all that kind of stuff. And so there was sort of a drive to have that kind of episode, or at least a conversation going on even before we met, I believe.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Red Hood's one of my favorite characters, and I mean, I think you can tell that there's a lot of love put into this one. And I also like Captain America: Winter Soldier is my favorite Marvel movie, and it has been uncontested since it came out. So like, I absolutely love the Winter Soldier as well. So it felt like just so much fun bringing these characters to life. So and we felt like it was something we could do well in live action, and you know. Thankfully, you guys thought so too. That's really the big one, you know.
I mean, I think it was there are definitely some challenges for this one compared to Nightwing, Nightwing Daredevil. I forgot who we fought for a second.
Unforeseen.
Like, say, a metal arm.
Well, I was gonna say that probably the strangest challenge of all was COVID kind of got in the way a little bit, which I think a lot of people were wondering, when was the shot and what kind of COVID precautions were taken? Figured we should at least address that.
This was right before COVID really exploded in the US. So it was literally like, as we were on set is when the panic started everywhere. We were fine, and it was getting really bad up in like the Pacific Northwest. That was where, like, that's sort of where everything was happening. And there was no cases in Las Vegas. We didn't really know what precautions to take, but we were still trying to be as careful as we could be. But the biggest challenge was like we had a sound person drop last minute. So all of our sound had to be done in post-production because we couldn't get someone back on set because they were scared of COVID. And getting food to set was a nightmare because that was when everybody was ransacking the stores out here. So trying to get lunch and try to get Crafty for everyone, like everyone on the last day of shooting had to wait like 3 hours for Crafty because they're just, the lines at the store were so long, everything was sold out. So the good news is COVID hadn't become like a thing in Las Vegas yet, but the panic had started. So we were dealing with the pre of everything. And it was one of those circumstances where I was like, we have to shoot the probably the highest production value project we've ever done. And we have to do it with this kind of like fear over our shoulder. So I want to, specify to everybody that no, COVID was not a problem, wasn't an issue. Like, it was like on our set, nobody got sick, nothing happened because again, Vegas was right at the beginning. But
it's right at the time when everyone's like, "Oh, this could be a thing." Like,
yes, this is like it's almost convenient in a way, but not, because if I remember right, this was like very early March, because basically if the shoot had happened the next weekend, it would have been everything would have had to shut down essentially. Like
One
that
day
was the
later.
weekend. Yeah, like that week was the week where everybody started going out and taking all the toilet paper. Like it was that same. It was right before all that happened, which was crazy. But like it was so close to it all that like. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Our governor shut down the city the 2 days after we wrapped. So like literally we wrapped,
crazy.
went home, we're chilling out, and then the next day he was like, "We're shutting down everything stops." And we were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe we finished in time. Oh my god."
That's amazing.
Yeah, literally I was planning to go out there to visit the shoot like we did for Nightwing Daredevil up until just a couple days beforehand. When all the airliners started having issues and limiting people, and then our company was like, oh, we should probably not send people over state lines. Like that was that era or that time period, and it was nuts. But I'm so happy that you guys managed to fit it all in right before it all really went bad, and make do from there. Because like. Turned out awesome, man. Like it just I love this episode so much. So let's talk about the fight itself though. Let's just talk a little bit about just the process. So Josh, being the writer, you've been writing this episode for quite a while, right? Like...
Yeah, first draft was like a year ago, literally like fall of 2019 we started writing the first draft of it, and then eventually, after we got like a first draft of the fight, or maybe even a second draft of the fight, we shared it with y'all over at Ismahawk, and then we started talking through it and stuff. And that was really fun to like start collaborating with you guys on it. Because that's always a fun process, is like you can come up with the fight with the researchers, but then bringing in the team that's going to make it always elevates it.
So especially like it's a very unique scenario because it's not just like we went to like a live action like stunt studio and was like, hey, we want you to do this. Like you guys are huge fans of comic books and stuff, so it's not just like, oh, we're gonna tell you what to do. You guys then also are like, ooh, can we do this and this and this, because like it'd be cool and like the character would want, you know. So it's been really awesome.
I remember in the beginning we had, because Joshua, you wrote such a solid base. We just kind of needed to kind of like push and pull some things in order to make it, you know, with when it's independent and the budget isn't like, you know, gigantic. It's like, okay, well, what can we do? What do we have access to that will give us the highest production value possible? So like we, you know, obviously we would taper things to be like, okay, well, we can do this really well, so we should do this. And I remember the one thing that we kind of talked about was like, oh, well, you know, Jason's emotional state is, you know, he's because of the Lazarus pits and because of his, you know, just all of his experiences. And I know the character intimately because we put him in our Nightwing series. So I've read like a ton of his comics. I mean, I was introduced to him in 2005 when he was first reintroduced in Hush. And I think it was 2005. Don't quote me on that. But I was like, dude, I remember throwing it out there. I'm like, what if we had this like PTSD Joker sequence that really set him over the edge, pissed him off so bad that that's when he wants to charge in and really like kind of start making some brash decisions against Winter Soldier. You guys were like, oh, dude, that sounds awesome. And I was like, really? Yes. Awesome. Great. Because I love that idea so much.
Yeah, I think especially since you guys had talked about doing this for years and you already had ideas that I'm sure have been floating in your head and in your team's heads for years at this point. And every so often, maybe like 5 years ago, you'd just be thinking like, oh, this would be really cool to do once we ever do this matchup. So we didn't necessarily want to take that away from you guys, because Death Metal is very much like a creative process that I think is different than a lot of others, especially like the narrative shows. You know, like Ruby or Red versus Blue, that's all focusing on one, you know, vision throughout the whole series. Whereas with Death Battle, we can kind of just take each episode by itself. And I'm totally a fan of each episode being just its own individual project, anthology on its own. And everybody who works on it just gets to create everything of that episode, of what they think it should be like.
That's why I love working with you guys. so much. Like the like you guys gave us the sandbox, and then you give like kind of just let us go and play and build whatever we want in that sandbox as long as we hit these things, like, and it made it so creatively fulfilling. And like I think we were able to really push the limits of what we could do because of that creative flexibility that you gave us. I believe all the audience enjoyed it as well, because it's because of you guys that it even ended up being anything close to what it is.
It's
That's
awesome.
dope.
I mean, I
same
said
to
it in
you
the
guys.
commentary,
We love
but
working with you guys.
yeah, we love working with you guys too. You guys are like the easiest
yeah.
people to work with in the world,
Yeah.
so it's great.
I
Also, I've seen a
didn't
couple
wanna-
real quick, but I've seen a couple comments in the chat that are just like, "This isn't really live." Yes, it is. There you go.
Ha.
I mean, we can prove it. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah.
Is there somebody in the chat that we want to call out? We'll figure it out as we're going, I'm sure.
Let's see. There's the first one I see is Ultra Instinct Goku. Great, of course that's the.
Of course, that's the first.
Of course,
document.
that's the username.
I'm just seeing a bunch of like death battle requests. It's
Right.
just like,
Yeah.
sure. I don't know if this is necessarily the right time to do that, but okay, we're not really looking for requests right now. We're more so just talking about an episode that exists.
Yeah. Sorry, what were you gonna say, Ben?
I did want to say, so I don't remember this being in the script, so I think this is something you guys might have added, Danny. The Big
Yeah.
Belly Burger at the beginning.
Yeah, that was us.
So that wasn't originally planned. Came back from with them, but it is funny how, especially this second half, we've had Sonic's hot dog, Bierce's ice cream, Leonardo's pizza, and now Jason's hamburger. This, for some reason, the theme of this season is everybody's lunch just gets screwed and then
No
they
one
die.
gets to
They just can't eat,
Yeah.
man. we actually made that Big Belly Burger bag for another project, and we had it on hand, and Melissa's like, "Can we use it?" And I was like, I feel like, why not have him walk in with a Big Belly Burger bag? He had just maybe been fighting crime, and he went and picked up some dinner, and now he has to fight Winter Soldier. Originally, he was going to actually take a couple bites out of the burger, but after a couple of bites, Tim was like, "I don't know, do I have to keep taking a bite?" And we were like, "No, you don't have to. It's not a big deal."
Well, on that note, you talked about how there are a bunch of Easter eggs in the fight. I mean, that's one of the more
Yeah.
obvious ones, but there's apparently a lot.
We
How
planted a lot.
many do you think there might be little references to find?
References, so like I guess we kind of like went in and tried to count them up, and we were like, does this count as an Easter egg? This is more of a reference, or like this. So I think there's like around 20 or 30 references or Easter eggs. Some of them are deep cuts. One of the ones that I was really, really proud of, and this is a spoiler for the ending, the gun exploding in his hand. I'm really surprised nobody noticed it in the comments. It might have been just too deep of a cut, maybe, I guess. But when the gun explodes in his hand, that's a throwback to Under the Red Hood, because when Bruce throws the batarang into the gun and it bursts in his hand, he's like, ah. I thought that would really kind of be cool and work for the climactic finale, that you have his. It's kind of like a throwback to that. That's how a lot of people are familiar with Red Hood. Their first interaction with him. So I don't know. I thought that would be cool. It doesn't seem like anybody noticed. I'm like, maybe some of these are too deep.
Dude, I know the feeling. We just did Flash versus Sonic, right?
Yeah.
And, the battle takes place in, or at least the first half takes place in the Cosmic Interstate, which is a set piece from the Archie Sonic comics. It's like a highway through the galaxy. And at one point, Flash or takes Sonic, or I think Sonic takes Flash off the highway into the void and through a portal. And when that happens, it all goes black and white. And I was like, this would be such a cool little reference, because there's one comic where they're on the Cosmic Interstate and they go off of it into what's called the neutral zone. In the neutral zone, everything is black and white, and they let the reader like color it in. I'm like, that's going to be an awesome reference, and people are going to get it. Nobody got it.
It's like, you're such a big fan of this thing. Like, you're a fan of Sonic, just like I'm a fan of Marvel and DC. So it's like you plant these little Easter eggs and then nobody notices, and you're like, well, I noticed at least.
Yeah. That one's for me.
It's funny, and that's like a skill too. Like, Ben just referenced probably like the most obscure little Easter egg you could possibly imagine.
Yeah.
But I even remember where in Iron Man, when I was watching Iron Man in theaters, and Rhodey looks at the prototype suit and like
Yeah.
nods and then goes like next time, and like I lost my shit in the theater.
Me too.
No one else,
Oh yeah.
not a single other soul was like hyped about it, and like I just had to, like, even my wife was like looking at me and I'm like, no, because like, he's War Machine, so like that's I'll tell you later. Like, yeah,
he's like Iron Man's Robin. It'll trust him.
Yeah,
like
That's
that's
how
a
it
much
was when
more
Sam
obvious one.
Jackson-
But yeah, I was disappointed in that theater. That's all I have
So
said.
I highly recommend, even if you've already watched Winter Soldier versus Red Hood, go back, check out the fight. Keep an eye on the background. There's some really cool stuff that these guys put in the background. You kind of highlighted some of the like photos and stuff on the wall in your behind the scenes video that's on the Ismahawk channel. Like, dude, I remember us talking about doing stuff like that for Nightwing Daredevil.
Right.
And it just didn't end up kind of working out. But you guys went so all out with this episode, with all the stuff in the background, and not just like the awesome action, because like Tyler and Tim were such good casting choices.
Yeah.
Not just because they look like the characters and they can pull them off, but because they are incredible stuntmen, incredible choreographers. What's it like? Talk about them a little bit. What's it like working
Tim
with
and
them?
I mean, I freaking love those guys. Tyler, this is probably, I think, the third or fourth time I've worked with Tyler. This is the first time working with Tim. He was good friends with Tyler, and I could not have been happier for bringing Tim on board. Honestly, he's a beast, dude. He's tough as nails, but the nicest guy you'll ever meet. Both of them are, I mean, if you watch our behind the scenes, you kind of get a taste of their personalities. It's funny, we always have Tyler playing these like silent, brooding heroes because he's like the goofiest, funniest, like most fun and charismatic guy to be around. He's such a good energy. Tim as well. And they're troopers, man. They like, as soon as we call action, they're going at it 100%, and they're so passionate about about their craft that it makes it so easy for Jeremy and I to do our jobs, and for everyone on the team to do their jobs, because they're so in tune. And Tim has worked on big Hollywood productions. I mean, they get like Scorsese handpicked him and gave him a line of dialogue for the Irishman. Like, he's had a ton of experiences working on shows and movies and stuff like that. And he's saying this is one of his favorite projects that he's ever had the opportunity to work on.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I mean, if I can just gush about my team for a second, like,
Yeah, absolutely.
you got a lot of credit for being the director, because you're like, oh, you're the director, you're the auteur, right? But anybody who's made any of these things knows that it really is a team sport. And if you don't know how to pass the ball, and you don't know how to rely on the talent and the passion and the dedication of the team around you, then a captain without a ship is just a guy on a boat trying to, floating in the ocean. And having Jeremy, having Jeremy as our cinematographer, and Jeremy's not just a cinematographer. He did the 3D arm. The arm that we see was him. He literally did the rigging, the animation, and the lighting on it. And then Preston, Jimmy, and I, who are two basically jack of all trades, but also work in VFX. The three of us went and kind of removed left arm, removed Tyler's real arm, the sleeve that we had as temp, and kind of filled in the background. And I saw some comments where people are like, "Oh, he looks skinny. He looks skinny." I was like, try to say that to Tyler's face, because he is ripped. He is absolutely like Ben. You've met him in person. You know how ripped he is. It's
I think
but
people
Tim
are
is a
comparing
big
it
guy.
to the Red Hood costume has like 4 layers on it, which makes Tim look like a bigger guy than. I mean, Tim's a big guy, but like it makes it look like an even bigger guy. Which works really well for the Venom part, but
especially after the Venom, because then he's like,
We
that's kind of the
got
point.
him. No, go ahead.
That's kind of the point with Red Hood, is that he's a much more brutal character compared to Winter Soldier, who's more of a he's a trained assassin. Like, his job is get in there and get it done as quickly as possible.
Also, if you look at their official heights online, Red Hood floats around the 6 foot to 6'1" area, and Bucky floats around 5'9" to 5'11", which is about the height differential between Tim and Tyler. So their heights are perfectly accurate to what the characters are. And it's like, why does
Perfect
Winter Soldier
casting.
need to be
Yeah.
super gigantic anyway? Because he has super
People are
strength.
spoiled by the crazy Marvel training where they put, an actor through 6 weeks of lifting weights and they suddenly gain like 200 pounds of muscle, like magically.
Right.
I'm convinced Marvel has developed the Captain America super serum.
Right.
Yeah.
Just not telling anybody.
I mean,
It's just for our movies.
Yeah, as soon as they're out, they lose all that muscle, so it's like,
Well, they
yeah,
got
they've
Paul
some
Rudd
kind of serum.
ripped.
Yeah, I know, right?
I mean,
And Chris Pratt, dude.
Yeah, like what happened?
Chris Pratt was crazy, man. That was a transformation, man.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Speaking of transformations, let me talk about one of our sponsors who can help transform you, Mack Weldon.
Wonderful.
That's some sort of segue. All
That
right.
was great.
Mack Weldon is a premium men's essential brand that believes in smart designs and high quality fabrics. They offer a one-stop shop for men's basics: socks, shirts, hoodies, underwear, polos, and active shirts. Whatever you need, Mack Weldon has you covered. Unlike the assortment of department store brands that make up your top drawer, all of Mack Weldon's basics have a consistent fit that you can count on. They've got versatility. You're not just going to look great in Mack Weldon. Their underwear, socks, and shirts perform well too. From working out, going to work or on a date, Mack Weldon is for everyday life, every aspect of life. They got incredible fabric technology of all things. Mack Weldon offers a wide range of customized fabrics that you can keep up with you no matter what your day looks like. And holy crap, there's a bunch of words that I don't know what they mean. Silver, air knit X, dry near, warm knit. If you know what those are, they got it. Weldon Blue. Mack Weldon has created a totally free loyalty program called Weldon Blue. A level 1 gets you free shipping for life. That's actually really cool. I didn't know about that. And once you reach level 2 by spending $200, Mack Weldon gives you 20% off every order for the next year. I mean, thinking about how pricey clothing can be, like, that's actually a really good deal. That's awesome. And Mack Weldon wants you to be comfortable. So if you don't like your first pair of underwear, you can keep it and they'll still refund you, no questions asked. So for 20% off your first order, visit mackweldon.com/cast and enter promo code CAST. Easy. So that's 20% off your first offer. And that's mackweldon.com/cast. Enter promo code CAST. Thank you, Mack Weldon. All right. On to, let's see. Okay, so you talked a little bit about the actors. How about the costumes? So you talked a bit about the metal arm. There was a sleeve that Tyler wore, right? Which kind of helped, I guess, set the basis, especially for like the glove and whatnot. But the whole thing was CG at the end of the day, which
digitally replaced.
I know we talked a little bit about when we were first starting this, like, what can you guys do a CG arm, or do we need to write the script around the metal arm, like,
which would have been really disappointing.
Prop? Yeah, because there are plenty of live action like fan live action fights with Winter Soldier, and I always notice that they like have to build the fight around the metal arm being functional. So they'll build a prop, but like they got to damage the shoulder or the elbow or something so that he can move it. So you don't actually see the metal arm until it's already been damaged. Which is smart, but we were hoping to be able to get the full reveal, and you guys pulled it off.
There was a lot of really, really good ideas of how to do Winter Soldier's arm, like other fan fights and stuff like that. Really, really good ideas. Excuse me. So we considered those options. We thought it would be easier, but ultimately we were like, I think Tyler needs full range of motion, and if we can do the arm, then we probably should. Because it would elevate the overall production and look amazing. I'll be honest, like, we've never done something quite like that before. I mean, we've got a lot of experience in visual effects, but this is our first time, rigging and animating an arm like that. And Jared was very confident that he could pull it off, and I was confident in the part that I was, my part of making it all work. So we were like, all right, let's do it. So we had our plan. we had our plan going in, but like it's one of those things where it was like, all right, well, we have a plan, but usually, everything kind of goes crazy once we have the footage in the can. So we'll see what happens. And even I think even Jeremy is kind of amazed with how much he nailed it. That's
Dude.
another reason why we made it gunmetal colored instead of silver, because it just feels a little bit more subdued over, and just like constantly catching your eye. It feels like it's more of a element. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, it looks so good. When I saw that, I lost my shit, because it's just like, I've seen like full movies that do like that looked better than the CG I've seen in some very expensive
Yeah,
movies. And
for
so it's
real.
just, it's wild, man. It's so hard to tell that it's CG, which is crazy.
Yeah,
There's-
actually, I think the gunmetal approach works well in that regard, especially with the set that you guys
Yeah.
have in the lighting setup. I think it worked really well with that, because I don't think a lot of people noticed that it was a different color than normal just because of the overall look of the fight. But
Right.
Winter Soldier specifically does look different from his MCU iteration, right?
Yeah, and that was a deliberate choice, because we didn't want to because first of all, you made it very clear that this is not mind control Bucky. This has to be Bucky at his full strength.
Mhm,
So he has to be broken of his mind control. But we also wanted to take the approach that Bucky, like that killer instinct that he developed, never goes away. So we were like, I decided to give him a blue undershirt, so the blue textured shirt he's wearing, that he rips the sleeve off. It's actually navy blue, which is a throwback to his his original, to his Bucky Barnes like sidekick outfit. So
Yeah.
also it would have contrasted with Red Hood's mostly red and gray motif. We were gonna forego the mask, but then we were like, everybody should be wearing a mask. So no, I'm kidding. Yeah, that's true. But no, we were just like, Tyler was like, dude, can we do the mask? Can we do the mask? And I was like, well, maybe we can come to a compromise, because I was like, I want to see your face on this one, because we covered this part of your face on Daredevil, and now we're gonna cover this part of your face on Winter Soldier.
Put them together, you got the full face.
You got you can figure out what Tyler looks like.
Mask is kind of iconic to Winter Soldier's look anyway. People recognize that more, so
Right.
I think that was a good call.
Yeah.
But yeah, the overall look is definitely a sort of a mix, I think, of taking what people saw in the MCU and then sort of combining it with what he's like in the comics after he breaks the mind control, which is awesome. Really good call overall, I think. But what about Red Hood's
Thank you.
outfit? Red Hood looks so badass.
Oh yeah.
So the helmet I found like months ago, because obviously we've been talking about it and we've kind of been sitting on it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go look, see if I can find any helmets, because we don't want to make it. So we found this Etsy store called Cos Plus 3D, and the helmet they make is unbelievable. It's 3D printed. The guy's craftsmanship is amazing. Like, we had 3 of them because we thought, it's 3D printed, it might break, but it didn't break. It withstood the stunts. So, and that's like Tim flipping and hitting the ground and stuff like that. It's like, it was pretty solid. So the overall design, I was really inspired by Dexter Soy's Red Ronin outfit, but obviously that's not canon, so we couldn't go that route. So I was like, is there a way for us to kind of take inspiration from the silhouette of that character? So we took the silhouette from Dexter Soy's Red Ronin, took some of the gray motif and also his little cutoff vest. Tim actually got that jacket, which is custom made, handmade, premium leather, or not. It's good leather. It's good quality leather.
Good leather.
And it's good quality leather. And it's literally
7 out of 10
sewed.
leather.
Yeah, it's good stuff. But it's literally sewed to fit his armor. So it's literally like perfectly sized for the armor. So it kind of looked, like the jacket, we were like, we can't afford to get like an actual jacket that's going to fit around the armor. It's not going to happen. But Tim's like, I know someone who can do this, and I know they can get it done in a week. And I was like, all right, put your money where your mouth is, make it happen. And he made it happen. And I was like, yo, man, Tim is amazing.
Man,
So
I just
that's
wish
why
we
you
could
have the
wear this
jacket.
jacket at any other time.
His biceps are enormous.
Oh my gosh.
Amazing.
That's awesome. And yeah, the helmet is also, I think, directly inspired by the Red Ronin art,
Right.
which is really
It
neat.
is. And those lights,
dope.
don't get it twisted. He could not see.
That's what's so amazing to me,
Yeah.
man, is like that he is able to pull off that choreography while being basically blind.
That's a pro for you, man. That's a pro. Like, there was a couple times to turn the lights off because he was doing something that was too dangerous to, for him not to be able to see. But almost the entire knife fight, like he had those lights on. He was just amazing. I couldn't believe it.
I didn't realize he couldn't see until that part of the behind the scenes video where he has to specifically kick the gun out of Winter Soldier's hand. So he's trying to like hit that exactly, but blind. It's amazing.
It's one of my favorite shots too. It's like a roundhouse kick, but like if you watch it, it's like
I love that
he
shot.
Flips sideways as he's doing it. He leaves the ground. It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's a capoeira kick, actually.
Yeah.
And he was like, because he trains in capoeira, he's like, I'd love to do a capoeira kick right here. And I was like, let's do a capoeira kick then, bro. Let's make it happen.
Well, talk a little bit about the choreography. Who is behind this crazy martial arts madness?
So Tim actually choreographed and coordinated the stunts for this one. I believe him and Tyler worked pretty closely, and obviously they worked within the parameters that you guys set for us. It was like a pyramid of like structure that he needed to work within, because then there's the stuff that you guys absolutely needed, like the stuff that the fight required in order to be a death battle. And then there was like, okay, here's the stuff that I see in my head and I want to see from that choreography within these parameters. And then here's your ability to kind of go free and fill in the blanks. And he did it, and it's insane. I mean, honestly, I was floored by the choreography. But a lot of people don't realize this, but when you're shooting a fight scene, there's not just and it's between two people. There aren't just two people in that fight scene. There's a third person that you don't think about, and that's the cameraman. Jeremy was the one capturing this imagery, and our first AC Rob is literally like trying to pull focus. Not trying, he's amazing at pulling. He's just amazing technical filmmaker. But so he's pulling focus on the action, trying to keep everything in focus, which if you notice, almost, I don't even want to say almost, I think everything is properly in focus because he's incredible. But Jeremy's over here like literally, and you can see it in our behind the scenes, so I really recommend going and checking it out. Because you could see Jeremy like contorting his body like Gumby, trying to get these shots
and not get him or the camera hit.
Exactly. And the three of them just do this perfect dance of just getting the action right. And the thing about live action is that there are real dangers and risks to shooting a real fight scene. People can get hurt, so you have to know what you're doing. You have to be like there has to be a lot of calculation in how we're doing these to make sure that everyone's safe and doing everything the right way, and Tim coordinated and made sure everything was good on his end. And yeah, I mean, enough praise can't be said to our entire team, man. It was like everybody really brought their A game on this one. It's kind of nuts even for us to see.
That's fantastic.
I said it before. It's like this is one of the coolest things we've ever been a part of. So like, it's really cool. Everyone I've showed it to is just like, wait, you guys made that? I'm like, well, Ismahawk made the fight. I was like, but yeah, we worked with them.
Yeah, but like we made it. I mean, it was made by all of us. Teamwork.
Yeah,
I suppose.
Crazy.
Hey, Joshua and you guys wrote all the beats that needed to get hit, and we just painted the picture. You know what I mean? we animated the fights.
This is definitely a complicated episode as well, just in terms of the research and how much material there is for the characters, not just because they've been around for a very long time, but because both characters existed back in like Gold and Silver Age, like an older age of comic books. disappeared and then came back, and kind of matching all of that together, because those are two very different eras, is such a complicated thing for a research team to do. Making sure everything seems consistent with the characters and making it all makes sense, and then coming to that final conclusion. But I really like how the episode turned out. I'm so proud of everybody who worked on it. It's such an, I don't know, it's such a neat episode for me. Like, and we've just been talking about doing this for so long, for over a year with you guys, and I think we might have mentioned this in an earlier cast or something, but we did originally plan on doing this earlier, but then live action fights can be difficult to make. So in order to make it, we wanted to do it right. We wanted to do this right. We didn't want to just rush in and be like, we could only get you half the budget that we had for Nightwing, Daredevil, blah blah blah. So that's all we got. We didn't want to do that. We wanted to make sure you had everything you needed, which I think the one issue that might come from this fight is people might look at it and think like, oh, these guys have such a huge budget. That looks so good.
No,
we
man.
Don't. One of the best things about you and your team is being able to take the honestly crappy budget that we have available for every episode and make it look like it's 10 times more than what it actually is. That's incredible to me.
I think some people do think that the budget was kind of massive, which is a very huge compliment, I think, to us. I think a lot of people, I mean, we made sure that we built it around things that we knew we could do. We recycled costume elements from Nightwing and Daredevil. We made sure, like, Lance from our stunt team, at Orphan Brotherhood, was able to get us a connection at Chinatown to shoot at that location for a really great price, and they were really flexible with us. So there was you don't see all the things that we had to do and all the compromises that had to be made. You only see the end result, because that Red Hood costume was held together by gaff tape and enthusiasm. Because, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's like, oh, that costume is great. But like, literally the night before, like after the first day of shooting, like, Tim's like, yo, these gun holsters are falling apart, man. I got to stitch them up. So he's crashing at our house because we don't have enough for a hotel room or whatever. So he's just crashing downstairs. And he's literally sitting there after a whole day of fight choreography, stitching the gun holsters to reinforce them. Like, everyone put in the extra effort. Everybody went the extra mile. And that's what you see on screen. It's not like this team of, this the team who brought I mean, like, that's the goal, right? To show that we're capable of that, and so that's that's what we strive for, to try to push every project beyond what we did before. So even though if we get another live action, if enough people want to see live action, then then it's one of those things where we're going to try to push the limits in some other way on that one. It may not be in the same way, but we're going to do something else to do something we've never done before, push the limits of what we can do to, create the best result possible.
Oh, that's great. And,
absolutely.
The story I like to tell too is just when we're working on Nightwing versus Daredevil, and it's just like, we're talking location. It was originally supposed to be on rooftops, and then you're like, well, that's gonna be hard. But my buddy's dad owns a garage, and he'll probably just let us shoot there. And we're like, perfect. Now we can get a new Nightwing suit.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, working with limitations is something Death Battle, has always done. Like, we're Death Battle. We're not a goddamn Hollywood movie. So we got to deal with that all the time. And figuring out ways around those sorts of things is something that I think all of us here can kind of say that we're at least,
for sure,
somewhat proficient in at this point.
Oh yeah. You have to be on YouTube. You have to be when you're like, because everything is it's a completely different animal, right? Trying to get stuff out. Especially, you guys are putting out death battles every 2 weeks now. I was like, you guys must be nuts putting out that many.
We're crazy. By the way, suggestion in the chat from Flaming Kitty. for your next episode with us, Danny. Live action Galactus versus Unicron. We can totally do that.
Perfect. What a great suggestion.
Well, we are trying to
Giant
push the limits of what we can do.
Flying through space eating planets. We can do that.
I did see a couple people mention Batgirl, which would be cool.
Oh, Batgirl.
Yeah.
Batgirl. I'd love to do Batgirl. I'd love to do Batman. I've never done Batman in live action because I've always felt like I wasn't ready to do him right. But I feel like now I feel like we're ready for some Batman action.
Hey, can we get Michael Keaton?
Oh.
Oh no. Well, you know what? Just wrapping up the conversation on Winter Soldier Red Hood. You guys watching right now, if you guys have any thoughts on what you think would make an awesome live action death battle, comic book or otherwise, let us know, because we love working with these guys. Danny and the rest of the Ismahawk are such a joy to work with, and they're so good at what they do that, I mean, unless something drastic happens, I don't imagine that we're gonna stop working with them. We're gonna, keep doing this for so long as you want to do it, Danny. We're open to working with you.
We're in, man.
Yeah. So I think there is definitely going to be more from this team up. But before we get to the community death battle, Chad.
I know. I was just about to throw in there. So a lot of people, ask us all the time, like, hey, I want to do what you guys do, and whether that's like animation or what like Danny does in like film and all that stuff. And so I'm going to tell you about a great place that we work with a lot. And we actually have a lot of people from there who work on our team. And that's Full Sail University, which is located just outside Orlando, Florida. Full Sail University offers associate's, bachelor's, and master's degrees designed for the world of filmmaking, music, gaming, art, and technology. It's offered both online and on campus. These programs are accelerated, so you can earn your degree in half the time. So degrees are immersive and hands-on, so you can learn your craft using the same tools and technologies found in the industry. I've had the privilege of getting to go out there because I filmed a series with them. I've got to meet students. I've got to meet teachers, and like everyone out there is so incredibly nice. And the teachers really do take like an active interest in their students. And I've just heard so many stories about their teachers, even like just going above and beyond to like really help them like get their careers kicked off after they've kind of finished their classes. So it's been really cool. So if you're considering it, you should definitely consider Full Sail. Full Sail grads are able to come back and audit classes throughout their careers and receive lifetime career development support throughout their professional journey. Full Sail grads have gone on to do big things, from mixing hit records to working on major Hollywood films to winning Oscars, Grammys, and more. They even have grads working here at Rooster Teeth, which I already mentioned earlier. Enrolled students receive a laptop along with industry software at a deep institutional discount. So you can learn more about Full Sail's programs as well as potential scholarship opportunities. Visit fullsail.edu/deathbattlecast. That's fullsail.edu/deathbattlecast. Go check them out. They're really, really awesome. What we do is not, it's so weird to say, I don't want to say standard because it's becoming more, but like, it's not, they're not traditional. I don't know how to describe it, but what we do is weird. And it's, at least when I was going through school, if I knew of a college that I could go to be like, oh wait, I can learn how to make video games or like film stuff or like, like it's so specialized for what we do now. It would have been really cool. So go check them out.
Yeah. The opportunities now are kind of unbelievable for how easy it is and how approachable it is to learn filmmaking and how to do all this stuff. So
yeah, I was like, I guess I'll go for a degree in computer science because like,
yeah, approachable is definitely a key word. This sort of stuff that we do is getting more and more approachable each day. So if you think you want to do it, if it sounds like something you want to at least look into, you can. You absolutely can.
Yeah.
All right. Right now, it's time to talk about the community death battle. So I believe last week we decided on, or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, we decided on Saitama versus Popeye.
Yeah,
naturally.
I remember how that came about.
It's a good one.
I remember right after we finished going live, someone tweeted at me with some insane Popeye shit.
Of course,
so, like,
Popeye's crazy. Popeye's crazy. All right.
Popeye's
So,
broken.
as always with the community death battle, we leave it up to you guys to tell us who you think should win and why on Twitter. So we should have some answers for that. We can go ahead and bring up the first one.
And the first one is from Combo Breaker. All right. Oh boy. Yeah, Popeye one-shot Saitama. Popeye once punched Bluto so hard he turned into a constellation, and Popeye gave the sun a black eye. Saitama may have punched away Boros' planet-busting laser, but that's child's play compared to Popeye.
That's amazing.
I love it. Gave the sun a black eye.
How do you calculate punched a person into like
A
so hard they
constellation?
became a constellation?
Yeah, like-
Good question.
Like, I guess you would have to calculate like they created enough energy from hitting the person to create stars.
Yeah, yeah. Why? Watch yourself, bitch, or I'm gonna punch you into stars.
What is the science on that?
That is like, what does that mean? Like his punch is like equivalent to the Big Bang? Because like,
Oh my god. Or at least like a reverse supernova of some kind. All right, let's check out the answer for Popeye, or not Popeye. For,
I think that was
Saitama.
the answer for Popeye.
Yeah.
All right. Saitama, this one's from Alex in a lot of numbers. Saitama is leagues faster than Genos, which puts him leagues faster than Light, and can one-shot anything, even taking down Boros, a Planet Buster, in a few hits.
Right.
Now, speed is interesting here,
Uh-huh.
but I don't think Popeye could be killed.
All he has to do is eat
Well,
spinach, man. It's like
yeah, I know.
steroids for him.
Is Saitama fast enough and smart enough to intercept the spinach?
I don't think so. I think Saitama would be all about like, what's this guy eating a can of food? Okay, like you know, like
Spinach. He's like, okay. That's probably what his reaction would be.
Probably.
Yeah, no, Popeye, I think would own Saitama. I love Saitama, but Popeye is broken OP.
Yeah.
yeah, dude. I wish I could find that tweet, but I made a very bold tweet yesterday, and I have like a bajillion responses from it. So
Oh, your pickle tweet?
yes,
Oh yeah.
You are a terrible person.
I don't know. I was feeling spicy, and I truly loathe them. So I just like had this moment. I don't remember what brought it on. And I think I thought about like, I don't know, just something. I was just like, you know what? Fuck.
I
pickles.
assumed it was some pickle incident, like you bit into something
No,
that wasn't
I-
supposed to
I
have
like-
pickles
No,
and
I
had
just
it.
kind of woke up with that hate.
Okay. Sure. Right?
It's just like I
Just
need to
woke
get
up
it
today
out.
and I thought, man,
Yeah.
fuck pickles.
Dude, fuck pickles.
No,
man.
I love
So-
pickles.
It's
I will
like,
defend pickles to the death.
The Titans trailer, except instead of fuck Batman, it's fuck Pickles. And it's
all
Chad.
right. We need to get back on topic.
A little bit of
Let's,
I wish I had those responses.
Danny, you are voting for Popeye. Sounds like.
I think I got to go with Popeye. Yeah.
All right. Josh, which way are you leaning?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you got to go Popeye.
Chad.
I'm leaning towards Popeye.
Oh, God,
I really
is this
I'm so
sweeping?
frustrated I can't get this tweet.
I do feel like we might be underselling Saitama a little bit here by just saying like he can defeat a Planet Buster or whatever. But Saitama's definitely an interesting one because we don't technically know what his upper limit would be. But Popeye's kind of stupid nuts, so yeah, I gotta go with Popeye too.
Popeye was a cartoon in an era where they just went so like totally loony with it all. Like he's a
Just
Looney
did
Tune,
things.
basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just did stuff.
it's like-
They're like, this could be fun. Let's do it.
Yeah. His like he eats spinach and then all of a sudden his muscle goes from his bicep to his forearm. And he's like,
Logic? What's that? We don't need that for this sort of animation. All right, so
We should do Popeye.
Popeye
I
all
want
across
to.
the board. Absolutely. I would love to do a Popeye episode. I've seen Popeye versus Saitama suggested several times. I don't necessarily know if that's the best matchup for both of them. I'd actually love to hear from you guys about that. Everybody who's watching this.
Yeah.
If this seems like the best, because obviously Saitama has more to him than just what we've talked about. It's possible that this matchup is a lot closer than we're saying right now. If this seems like the matchup for both those characters, let us know on Twitter. I'd love to hear from you guys about it. But if there's a better matchup for both of them, because I want to bring both these characters into Death Battle, but both of them are so tricky.
Yeah, Saitama is very tricky. We've talked about that so many times.
Yeah. Let us know what you think. But we're also getting to know what you think about this matchup right now, specifically who should win, because every time we do one of these, there's a poll on Twitter that you can vote on. So let's go ahead and bring up the poll. It's going to be Saitama.
Oh,
It's a lot closer
called
than I
it.
thought, though.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was expecting a pretty clean sweep just because Saitama is more in the mainstream or whatever.
Yeah.
But
Right.
that was really close.
Yeah.
Some kids are probably like, "Who the hell is Popeye?"
He was played by Robin Williams at one point.
Popeye versus Roadrunner
Yeah,
is
it's amazing.
in the chat. Yes, I know. Oh my God, those prosthetic arms.
Yeah.
That's what I think of
Guys.
every time.
There it is, man. There's our next live action. Popeye versus Saitama. That's it.
Amazing.
All right. Well, speaking of next battle, Danny, is there any community death battle you would like to throw into the ring for next time?
I'm gonna throw out Akuma versus Liu Kang.
Ooh.
A little bit of Street
Ooh.
Fighter, Mortal Kombat action. Little
It's been a while
martial
since we
arts,
did a
little
Street Fighter Mortal
superpowers.
Kombat, huh?
Yeah, I think so.
We did a bunch of Street Fighter Mortal Kombat death battles like in early death battle history because we
Yeah,
were
we
back
did.
when we were a video game company. I think
Right,
we ran
right.
out of the cool characters. No. Okay, Akuma versus Liu Kang. Interesting. Is this Liu Kang from like, I guess the more recent games where he gets like crazy? Does he get like time powers or something? I guess he might go a little too far at the end of the recent Mortal Kombat.
They both get
resets the
super
universe?
OP.
Is it Liu Kang who resets the universe? I can't remember.
I know Liu Kang becomes like a god. So
Yeah.
Perfect.
and they both have like cool glowy powers at some point. They're both like because
They're-
like Akuma has the Oni form, right? The Oni.
That's
Akuma.
right.
So
he gets some sort of crazy form at the end of the latest Mortal Kombat, and then he
Right.
like absorbs what's her name's powers or something like that and resets the universe because of course he does. All right, so Akuma versus Liu Kang with their powered up typical power sets. Let's do that. As always with Community Death Battle, you can let us know who you think should win and why using hashtag DeathBattleCast on Twitter. There will be a poll up as well. I guess later today, since we're recording this on Friday, and this is going up on YouTube, I believe, like pretty soon.
Now? I don't
So,
know. Sure.
It'll be up on. Just keep an eye out on the Death Battle Twitter. Also, make sure to check out the Ismahawk Twitter. That's just at Ismahawk, ISMA Hawk. Pretty easy. Definitely check them out. Let's see. Oh, I forgot to mention this at the top of the episode. Check this out.
Buy the merch.
I'm wearing Wiz's shirt, guys.
Yeah. And the
And
Death
it's-
Battle tee is
And
back.
who was it who didn't realize that this meant rock and roll?
It was
that
Liam.
It was Liam.
A
Yeah.
freaking writer
Rock and
didn't know
roll.
what this meant.
He's like, I thought it was just like really into recycling.
it's like recycle rock, rock recycle.
What do you
Yeah.
recycle rocks into?
Yeah, it's
Do
rock
you,
and roll.
do you rock if you recycle?
So
the
Fun
shirt's on the
facts.
store. That Death Battle shirt's on the store. The
store.roosterteeth.com.
game is back on the store. This thing sells
Nice.
out so fast. So if you want the game, you should go check that out.
And there's a boomstick hat.
There's a boomstick hat.
I'm gonna drop
Originally-
just a fun quick fact about that shirt, which is when Ben and I were making the official art, knowing that we're going to create Wiz and Boomstick and they're going to be appearing in Death Battle. We were joking around because I was like, Wiz needs like a lame ass shirt. Like he needs like a lame ass like science shirt, like a science pun shirt that he thinks is like the coolest thing ever, right?
How do you do fellow
Like,
kids shirt kind of
Yeah,
thing.
exactly, right? And then we're like, why would we do rock and roll? And so we came up with that. And when I sent that to our concept artist, I said, as a rock with arrows going around it. They used literal arrows, like bow and arrow arrows,
Yeah,
in the
that's
first
right.
concept. And I was like, okay, I see how you got that, but let me explain.
Oh my
It's
god.
fun. But I love
Uh,
that shirt. I love it so much.
Yes. Definitely. There's a bunch of other awesome stuff on the Rooster Teeth store, especially from RTX. There's some really cool shirts from there. All right. I think that about wraps up everything we wanted to talk about today. Thank you so much, Danny, for joining us and for
Yeah.
everything that you do. You and the crew are so fantastic. Real quick, you kind of give a shout out to some of the rest of the crew, but is there anybody else from the crew that you want to give a shout out to and or talk about a little bit?
Way to put him on the spot. Now he's like, oh God, if I forget somebody.
Yeah, I mean, anybody who's watching, I'm sorry if I forget anybody. Every single person was so important and integral. You know, we have Jeremy, the cinematographer, Melissa, who did production design and produce, Trevor, who was our AD, keeping me in line on set. We had Rob Machado and Tyler, our camera team, the spicy boy Fred, and Preston and Jimmy, our grips on set, and oh my gosh, so many people. We had, honestly, like Ian, our writer and editor, he was editing on set, my girlfriend, and also a makeup artist. Like, we had so many people doing so many different things. And if you go check out the behind the scenes, you can see the super grody hand makeup she did on Red Hood's hand. That's like the throwback to Under the Red Hood. I was looking out on set, I was like, ugh.
Also,
But-
I'm glad you didn't forget to give her a shout out. That could have been the most detrimental to you, I feel.
That would have. I'm sure I forgot someone, but I love our
You've
entire
been
crew.
sprinkling in people throughout this
Yeah.
whole cast,
Yeah.
so it's totally makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, everybody, your whole crew. I think I said the same thing for Nightwing Daredevil. One of my favorite things about you and just your crew in general is your ability to find people who not only are really good at what they do, but are passionate about it. And I think that is such an important thing when it comes to making these sorts of projects, especially when it is a smaller team. And you got it, man. You could just apparently just look at somebody and be like, yeah, they'd be totally into this. Let's do it.
Yep.
Which is awesome. That's a talent that I don't think a lot of people have.
I can smell passion and I can smell drive, and I'm like, are you trying to do something? Are you trying to make some cool stuff? Because let's talk. And yeah, I also feel very, very lucky. You know, it's definitely not a superpower. I've always felt growing up my whole life, I don't have any real any real talents. I just work really stupid
please.
hard and am able to help bring the best out of the people around me, and they in turn bring out the best in me. And you know, it really is a team effort. And you know, I've done this alone. You know, I've been there. You know, you guys went to film school. I know you did, Ben. You know, when you're starting out, it's hard to figure this out. Oh, I remember someone, our sound team, Dog and Pony Sound. I gotta throw them a major shout out, because he did almost all the sound work in post production. It's because we didn't have a sound person on set, so a lot of people don't know this, but you can watch a movie with bad visuals, but you can't watch a movie with bad audio. So he had to go in and really do so much, him and his team. And our composer, John Sikolinski, who did Red Winter, got to give them a shout out too. Sorry, I couldn't forget them. They were very important.
Yeah, I love it earlier because Brandon Yates was in the chat. He says, don't forget to thank your composer.
Yes. I got you, John. I got you, John.
All right. Well, next episode that we got coming up, speaking of Brandon Yates, he did the music for Venom versus Krona, which is the first time we're bringing a Soul Eater character into Death Battle. And man, I wasn't very familiar with Soul Eater going into this. Oh boy, Soul Eater's crazy.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun episode and a weird, creepy one just in time for October. All right. Thank you all so much for watching this surprise morning episode of Death Battle Cast.
Yep.
This isn't a regular thing. We usually do this Wednesday at noon Central Time.
Yep. And if you are watching live and you're looking for more stuff that you can watch right now, this is the final day of RTX at home. Head over to roosterteeth.com/live and check out the very last day of RTX. Go do it. Say hi to people in the chat. Tell them we sent you, so then they're like, great. Good job, Death Battle Cast.
You did it. Okay, that's a good way to end.
That's right.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks again for having me, guys.
Yep.
Bye.